Today I'm going to talk about a meditation process that you will probably go through in the future. Not what the Agama Sutra or the Yoga Sutra talks about, but the actual process. The first thing we need to do once we start our spiritual practice is to activate the energy of the property of motion. And what is the energy of the property of motion? In short, it is Kundalini. There are 3 levels of Kundalini. The first level is heat, and the second level is the world of vibrations. The third level is the Kundalini of light. We need to awaken these 3 Kundalini energies: heat, vibration, and light. After that, the process of opening the lower chakras begins. Then one becomes able to hear nada sounds and see light. That is, these 3 phenomena appear. Physically, it is manifested in such a way that a strong fever begins. Then the spine begins to make various vibrational movements, and then there are bright flashes of light. These are the 3 levels that exist. When one reaches this level, one starts to think that he has already completed spiritual practice or that he is very advanced in practice, but he is not. And just here, deep in the nasal cavity, is a branch of the Sushumna channel. So basically it shows that the energy is just going through this branch of the Sushumna channel leading to the Ajna chakra. However, to attain liberation we do not need a path to the Ajna chakra at all. We need the path to reach the Sahasrara chakra. Next, the Kundalini rises and reaches the Sahasrara chakra. The secret teachings say that this state is wonderful, and the words, "to open the door to immortality," or "to break the Brahmarandra knot," are used to describe it. And indeed, to reach this stage is wonderful, but it also does not represent anything significant. At this time the following happens. We begin to see with spiritual vision the orb of light of will and the orb of light of wisdom. I tell you this based on the experiences of K.S., and other students now practicing in isolation rooms, and based on my own experience, so I have confidence in it. I am also guided by the ancient scriptures of India. But now I tell what is not written in the sutras. The energy that has risen no longer matters. We get a direct path to Brahmarandra. First, with energy, we get to see with spiritual vision the orb of light of will. It's made of golden threads. That's what it feels like. Because it is unusual for us to see such a thing. At first there is only this wool shell made of golden threads, or rather, only the wool shell is visible to us. As we get used to it, however, we notice that there is another layer around it that is responsible for our images. At first, it seems that both of these layers are combined. Rather, they are not combined. That is, they look as if they are on the same plane. The will is in the center, and the images are outside. But when you get used to it, you'll realize that there are 2 layers there, the envelope of will in the front, and behind it in the depths is the ball of light of images. It is constantly changing, including in size. The energy will fill you more and more. This is usually where ordinary spiritual practitioners stop. But what happens if the guru directs the strong energy into the Sahasrara chakra? The energy goes down again. It goes down the central channel for the T Sandali. When it descends, this energy will allow us to see the earth element. The color of the earth's element is yellow. And when the earth's element becomes visible, the outer shell of the physical body that forms us will disappear. During meditation, there will be a state when it collapses. This is different from the expansion of consciousness as well. It is as if the physical body were crushed and dissolved. The next light we will see is the water element. If you are not used to it, it appears white. However, it is celestial blue. The water element is sky blue. When that sky blue color appears, then the astral in the true sense, and this 3-dimensional world will become connected. What will happen then? For example, you fall asleep and you hear sounds all around you. However, you are actually asleep. Such phenomena begin to occur. Or during meditation one of your consciousnesses will be in a state of deep consciousness and experience, but at the same time, all the sounds of the world around will be heard. This is the state of the water element. Do you understand? The stage of the earth element can already be called one of liberation. And the stage of the water element can already be called one of liberation too. That makes sense, doesn't it? Because now I have told you about the Ratnasambhava liberation and the Akshobhya liberation. Then you see with your spiritual vision the fire element. At this time your body is on fire. It is not the kind of world in which you see red or blue. Your body is on fire. This is where the Gaya Samaji mandala is, and it is similar to the background color of Gaya Samaji. Well, this color is not pure, it's a richer red. It's a fiery red. And this red light surrounds our bodies. This is when we enter the stage of calmness. The body begins to harden. The whole body goes numb. There is nothing wrong with us in this numbness. Then it becomes very bright. The visions become especially vivid. However, this is still called dhyana. That is, it is a state of meditation, not samadhi. Then a belt of green envelops us. Green with a touch of blue. This is the wind element. In my experience, this is cool kundalini. Nice and cool kundalini begins to rise and the green belt becomes visible. This is the stage of the wind. At this time, the following will happen. You will enter the world of levitation, Dadri Siddhi, the profound knowledge of past lives. Nevertheless, this is also not yet samadhi. It is a state of ease. When a spiritual practitioner reaches this level, he or she becomes capable of practicing for many hours at a time. For example, K now practices for about 18 hours a day, but he is not tired at all. Also, the loss of energy is reduced. You practically don't lose energy. This is the wind stage. Next comes the space element stage. It is a world of silvery blue. It is a beautiful world, though it is difficult to explain in words. What happens at this time? We are entering samadhi. Now I will tell you in detail about the step where we enter samadhi, beginning with the wind step. At first, we feel a kind of exhaustion. Then the heartbeat becomes unusually frequent. If you're not used to it, you think, now I'm going to die. I've experienced this kind of thing many times. My heart was beating so fast that even I thought I was going to die. And after that strong heartbeat, you enter samadhi. This stage of space element becomes the source of attaining perfection in astral yoga. Then the consciousness that is in the state of samadhi enters the world of true liberation. This is the world of true liberation, the Ajna chakra level. The state of true liberation has another name, a thoroughly knowledgeable view. You may consider these to be synonyms. A thoroughly knowledgeable view and real liberation are synonymous. At this level, we gain experience not only of this world but the entire experience of the astral and causal worlds. We notice that such a living being as I is not a physical body. And this is where we free ourselves from it. And when we reach the level of a thoroughly knowledgeable view, we begin to have different experiences. First, one experiences what one is attached to. These experiences are more real than in this world. As the spiritual level rises, one enters the world of light in the causal world. Then the door opens to Mahayana, which is the ultimate goal. This is the world called ultimate liberation, Sahasrara. I will end my explanation here, but, to elaborate further, in the intermediate state between present liberation and ultimate liberation, the energy once again descends the front of the body, passing through the chakra worlds. And then one goes through all of the stages I described in video: true Kundalini Yoga, Dream Yoga, Bardo Yoga, Yoga of the illusory body, and Yoga of light. The latter is Farwa, transference of consciousness, and after that one enters Mahayana. This is the process. Because you have received such detailed guidance, you can understand the level at which you are now. If the Guru or God Shiva is willing, even someone who is not engaged in spiritual practice can go through this process in 2 or 3 months. If the Guru or God Shiva doesn't want it, it will never happen. Because in the process of rising, falling energy, rising and falling again, rising, falling and rising again, there is a strong sense of fear. Some of you must have experienced the experience of the separation of the ghost body, but the feelings that arise at that moment have nothing to do with this feeling of fear. I will describe Bardo Yoga in a little more detail. So you sit down and the Kundalini begins to rise. Then you go from the earth element state to the space element state, as described above, and you come to true liberation. At this point, the whole body, especially the upper chakras, begins to vibrate. Then the whole body goes numb and freezes. In the next moment the space around you goes dark. That is 5 meters of the space around you plunges into total darkness. It gets darker above you as well. You are no longer aware of the space you are in. Being in total darkness, you cease to understand where you are, and suddenly you begin to ascend. This causes fear, because you are flying out of perfect darkness. Fear arises, that's it, I'm dead. Indeed, and in the book of, I think Castaneda, the famous magician, there seems to be a similar description, and in the books of Tibetan Buddhism, although this moment is not described there, I heard, there is also a description expressed in the words, journey into the dark night. But because the level of consciousness of the practitioners was low, they only had an experience up to that point. The reality, however, is as I have described. The soul that was able to get out of the darkness will fly to the world of light. But first to the world of images. There is light there too, but not so bright. This is called the intermediate state, which has another name, Bardo. In this state, one can experience many things. If he has died, different lights will appear and his future birth will be determined according to his karma. But practitioners who have attained mastery in meditation can return to the physical body. However, even though you have received such instruction, you will still have a strong fear. I will now tell you the advantages and disadvantages of this. The advantage is that if you get the experience, there will be no fear of death. The disadvantage is that if you fail, you will go mad. I'll let you decide for yourself, but really, if we've already been through it, we can be, if not determine our next rebirth, then we can be secure in it. That's the benefit of it. That's why I advise you to have at least a Bardo experience in this life. You can understand these words of mine as follows. I advise you to achieve at least the true liberation. That should be of great benefit to you. For those who are trying to achieve liberation for the first time in this life, it is impossible to achieve it alone. Therefore, I or my disciples will help you. There are probably people among you who are practicing saying, I can achieve it myself. Laughs. No, there are such people. There are some among the staff as well. These people don't attend seminars, they only practice from our journals. But that's impossible. Why? First of all, one becomes attached to the level of Manipura chakra. As more specific three-dimensional visions arise, they draw us in and draw us into a world of illusion. For example, a beautiful girl may appear there, or a guru. But it's all a fake, a deception. Or a light might suddenly appear, or you might feel numb. These one fear are all nothing more than intermediate stages, as I just said. Today I'm talking about something I haven't yet published, something no one has yet written about. So you must understand and remember everything I have been talking about. Then you will get rid of 1/3 of the fear during meditation. I mean that fear will be eliminated in the surface consciousness, one of the 3 levels of consciousness: surface consciousness, subconsciousness, and superconsciousness. You will only be able to get rid of fear in the subconscious mind by experiencing it several times or by receiving Shaktipat. However, fear in the surface consciousness can be overcome with knowledge. Let's revisit what we've learned so far. First, when the Kundalini awakens, we break through our world of heat, break through the world of sound, and break the thread the world of light. To add to what was said, at this time we first break the Brahma knot, then the Vishnu knot, and the Shiva knot. The energy that has broken these knots opens the Brahmarandhra. It opens the gate of immortality and then goes down the central channel. Then the destruction of the 5 great elements begins, beginning with the earth element. This is the yellow color. This is the state in which the physical body is completely destroyed. Then it is the turn of the water element. This is the bifurcation of consciousness. That is, the sleeping consciousness and the consciousness of external sensations exist in one dimension. Then comes the numbness characteristic of the fire element. This is the same as calmness. Silence, in which one feels easiness in the body and consciousness. After that is the stage of the wind element. At this time, a cool and very pleasant Kundalini energy rises. That is, along the channel Sushumna, which runs along the spine, the wind rises. A pleasant wind rises. This is the level at which Dadri Siddhi, also called levitation, arises. The divine ability to know past lives also appears. Then we enter the void, entering Samadhi. Up to the level of wind, one experiences a state of meditation. But when he goes to the next stage, the stage of space, that is Samadhi. Here we experience something similar to death. After entering into Samadhi, we attain true liberation at the level of Ajna Chakra, that is, the thoroughly knowledgeable view. At this time we enter the world where we observe everything visually. After that comes the state of ultimate liberation. We enter Mahayana. To go through this process, the energy goes down the front of the body again. Here we experience Bardo Yoga, Dream Yoga, and Illusory Body Yoga, and finally enter Mahayana. Then, what kind of world is Mahayana? Sakyamuni Buddha said that you should not ask about Nirvana or Maha-Nirvana, that is Mahayana. Many religious leaders and philosophers have argued and debated about this. Since Sakyamuni Buddha asked not to ask this question, one may not ask or think about it. But I would still like to talk a little about the Mahayana experience, in this state. Today my intermediate state body went into Mahayana and came back out. The Mahayana state is a state where there is nothing but lightness. You could say that apart from that, nothing else exists there. Time also disappears. Space also disappears. There is only lightness. Even I, who has taken the big chariot vow to reincarnate in this world until all souls attain the Mahayana state, do not want to leave this world. It is so beautiful. It is a sweet world. Sweet, but not sugary. The word refined doesn't fit either. How should I describe it? Perhaps the expression that everything expands there and everything is one would do. Nor can the word peace convey the state of this world. Satisfaction is also inexpressive. There is nothing but joy. No, still, I cannot describe it. All laugh. I am sure that those who can experience this state will cease to be interested in other material and spiritual things altogether. Nothing can compare to it. That's what Mahayana is, although I actually couldn't explain it. If all souls enter this state, they will no longer be attached to form. They will deny the form. Because when we start possessing something or satisfying our desires, in other words, we start striving for that which has form, we sink into a world of suffering. Therefore, we who have learned that it is suffering, we who have begun to practice in connection with it and have accomplished achievement, will have no reason to reincarnate again in this world of form. This is the beautiful world of Mahayana. And when you all enter this world, the words peace and contentment cannot convey your state. In other words, you will attain everything. In other words, when you have acquired everything, my spiritual practice will be complete. And if there are those among you who, like me, as bodhisattvas, practitioners, or saviors, will carry on activities to help people attain this state, it will be my greatest joy. For as many people as possible to come across this information, please like it, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment of 8 words or more.